Hello everyone. Today we'll start with a new topic, that is bonding forces and energy bands in solids. Now, why we are understanding this concept? Because we need to develop an overall sense of the density of states. So to develop the sense of density of states, we need to understand what are the different forces inside the solids, about the categorization of the energy bands, what is the Fermi level, which give us the probability that a particular electron can be found or occupy a particular state. Then what is the categorization of the materials as per the impurities inside them, like intrinsic or extrinsic? How about the categorization of the materials within, how the categorization of the materials based on the band gap? If it is very large, like electron can't jump from valence band to the conduction, then it can be an insulator. If it is of mild nature, then it can be a semiconductor which can be thermally or optically excited, or if it is partially filled or overlapped, then it can be a metal. And then further categorization of the semiconductors into direct and indirect semiconductors, which can be used for the potential applications. So to understand this, we need to have some base. So today we are going to make that base with the help of bonding forces in solids and energy bands in solids. We know that whenever there is an electron inside a solid, it always have some influence of the forces because of the neighboring atoms. Whenever an electron is in the outermost orbit of a particular atom, it feels influence because of the neighboring atoms, and that influence, that outside force, basically alter the overall wave function, overall behavior of an electron inside an atom. And because of that alteration, because of that influence of the neighboring atom, there is a shifting as well as splitting of energy of a particular electron within the energy bonds. So how it is there, and we also know that whenever an electron is inside an isolated atom, it does not have any kind of influence inside it. So this is the basic difference between a solid, an electron which is present inside a solid, and an electron which is inside an isolated atom. So how about this solid? How about the bonding inside the solid? It is of three types. The first one is the ionic, second one is metallic, and the third one is covalent bonding. So what is ionic bonding? To understand it, we will take an example of NaCl, sodium chloride, which we used to call as common salt. Now we know atomic number of sodium is 11 and atomic number of chlorine is 17. Now this we can write with neon and 3s1. Now why neon? We know neon is having atomic number of 10, and it can be written like 1s2, 2s2 and 2p6. So this much is completely filled, 2 here and 8 here. So 2, 8, 10 and so on. So it is completely filled. So that's why for the first 10 we are writing it like neon, and this one is the 11th one. How about the chlorine? Same way we can write it in form of neon. This is neon, 3s2, 3p5. Now if we can analyze it, this is this here 3p6. If it is possible 3p6, then it can make it complete. Now what is the possibility? Possibility is that sodium can somehow lose its electron which is present in the outermost orbit of this S shell, and it can be gained by this p orbit of the chlorine. So the moment as soon as electron will jump, or we can say lose from the sodium, or you can say sodium lose outermost electron, it can be gained by the chlorine. So as soon as sodium loses electron, it becomes positive charge, and as soon as chlorine gained electron, becomes negative charge. So both of them become ions. That's why this is the ionic bonding because of the exchange of electron between sodium and chlorine. So this is here that inside the lattice sodium atoms gives up outermost 3s electron to the chlorine, so that crystal is made up of ions with electronic structure of inert atoms. So sodium will get a net positive charge, chlorine get a net negative charge, and after the electron exchange, all outer orbits of both the electrons are completely filled. Now when both the electrons are completely filled, outermost orbits of both are filled, so there cannot be further exchange of electrons. So it becomes only neon. It becomes neon 3s2, 3p6. So because further exchange of electrons can't be possible, so NaCl will behave like an insulator, so because there are non-loosely bound electrons to participate for the current flow. So this is ionic bonding. Now what is metallic bonding? Metallic bonding, as the name suggests, has a relevance with the metals. Now we all know that metals are abundant with the electrons. They have a sea of electrons, and electrons are free to move about the crystal under the influence of any kind of electric field from the outside. And because in metals the outermost electronic shell is partially filled, So because of that partially filled of the outermost orbit, electrons can free to move anywhere, which accounts for the great chemical activity and it gives rise to the overall electrical conductivity. So this is what we have written here, that they have sea of electrons and they are free to move under the influence of electric field, so which accounts for the great chemical activity and give rise to the electrical conductivity. Now how about the covalent bonding? Now this ionic bonding is because of the exchange of electrons. It is because outermost shells are partially filled and metals have excess of electrons, abundance of electrons, so they can participate in the overall current flow, in the overall electrical conductivity. And this covalent bonding is because of the sharing of electrons. Now whenever there is a sharing, you cannot say this particular electron belongs to this particular atom. Rather, that electron belongs to a bond. And in this kind of bonding, whenever you need to break a bond, you require some sort of excitation from the outside. So it can be thermally or it can be optically. So this type of bonding is of great relevance to us because this type of bonding is generally exhibited by all the semiconductors. So covalent bonding, it is exhibited by semiconductors. A particular example is germanium or silicon. So what it is covalent bonding? Inside this bonding, each atom shares its valence electron with the nearest 4 neighbors, and the bonding forces arise from the quantum mechanical interaction between the shared electrons. So you can see here each electron pair constitutes a covalent bond, and in this process it is no longer relevant to us which electron belongs to a particular atom. Why? Because both of them are playing their equal role. Because the overall bond is because of the sharing of electrons. That's why that particular electron belongs to the bond, not to a particular atom. And one more thing, because both the electrons are indistinguishable in nature, so they must satisfy the Pauli exclusion principle. What Pauli exclusion principle says that they are identical in each and every aspect except spin, which must be opposite. If one has 1 by 2, the another has minus 1 by 2. So what is the only possibility that electrons can lose? The only possibility is that electron can be thermally or optically excited from outside, and they become free to participate in the conduction process. So this is all about the different type of bonding available in solids. So we understand covalent bonding, we understand metallic bonding, and then ionic bonding. Just go through it. If you have any doubt, drop a message. Thank you.